Okay, so basically, what I found was driver's side was perfect. I mean, dead nuts on, timing marks on, correct tension, everything. Passenger side. This one, I was literally able to lock out the cam, undo the bolt, reach in. Sorry for the terrible camera work. Grab the sprocket and give a little bit of wiggle back and forth at 3 and 9, 12 and 6, and this one literally came off the end of the camshaft. Dowel pin intact, everything. So that was all good. Get to the passenger side, and this one was literally locked on, like it would not budge. I was trying it 3 and 9, 12 and 6, trying to get it. There was no wiggle whatsoever. So I put a little pry on the backside. Put a little pry on the backside just to get it to break loose to where I could get it at 3 and 9 and get it to wiggle off. I took it, went to sit it on my bench, set it down like this, and I just dropped that sucker too. Okay, I'll find that in a minute. So, sorry. Basically, if you look at this is spring loaded. The phaser is spring loaded in there, the tone ring, and it's attached that way. This one is supposed to be the same way. It's obviously square, and you've got the square this way. It goes on, sits down in there. Sorry for the camera work again. Anyways, just the amount of pressure from me setting this down on the bench, this thing undid and popped up like a jack in the box. So that was an instant clue automatically. I mean, getting it off, I thought, okay, some of them can get sticky, and you got to give a little, you've got to give it a little bit of help to get it off of the camshaft. But then when I saw that, I thought, oh crap. Then, also, let me find this. As I pulled it out, the dowel pin came out. I caught that before it went down, and luckily I'd taken and ragged off the oil pan and all that stuff, and I caught it in my hand as it was going down. So I managed to salvage that. But as I flipped it over, where the dowel pin was secured in the other one, I don't know how well this is going to show up. I can try and zoom. Let me get my hands ungreasy here. That housing where the dowel pin goes in is cracked. Let me turn the flash off. Yeah, there we go. Focus. Cracked. And oblong. And signs of wear. Now I can turn the flash back on. Hopefully you can see the bottom side of it. It was definitely not square in the bore, that's for sure. Then, after I flipped it over and saw that, I came back to the camshaft. Again, driver's side is immaculate. It looks great. This one here, it has, it's hard to focus. It is very oblong in there. And if you look at it from the top, there's a burr. I can catch my... Okay, but my guess is this judge doesn't go for it. Focus. This is weird. You said Meg Meldon's birthday is 2 days. All the way around this bore is a burr that I can catch my fingernail on. It's going to have to be filed down. It's not so much at the bottom. It's not too bad there. I can catch a little bit, but up here, I mean, it's very... Let's see if you can see it or not. Yeah, there you go. It's got a pretty good burr, and this is not going to focus very well. Come back. The wear pattern inside that bore is definitely not concentric. Yeah, it's been very yeah, there you go. That's a pretty good shot. As opposed to this side, I know it's on the bottom, so it's a little different, but very concentric. No burrs. No. There's the flash will come under there. but no oblong wear. I mean, it looks basically like a horseshoe there, as you can tell. Let me come back. Yeah, shoot. Okay. Anyways, you kind of get the idea. I think just the perfect layman, you don't even have to be mechanically inclined to be able to tell that there's a difference between that bore and that bore. With the burr on the outside, the uneven wear pattern inside. I didn't even get a shot up going that way, did I? Okay. So, yeah, I definitely believe that everything laid in this side. Oh, that's what I neglected to tell you was, as I was setting everything up, I got the cover off and everything. Put the crank bolt back in to crank everything around to get everything to top dead center to be able to, you know, get my cams into the neutral position and all that. This side, this phaser kept making a really loud click, and I was more focused on turning this down here, and I kept hearing this click up here. So I started watching up here, and as this was going around, this one, silent all day long, spinning concentrically, spinning where it's supposed to. This one here, I could actually watch the cam move, and the phaser would stay still for a minute, and then the, I don't know if it was the spring-loaded part of the tone ring or what, it would snap, and it would catch up. So this cam, say it would go maybe this much travel without that phaser moving, just the sprocket, and then that phaser would get enough tension, and it would spin and catch up and snap. So, and that was another thing, was these marks here. I think these were behind here. I noticed these marks. So I'm kind of wondering, and it's been known to be done, people will grab them with vice grips and lock them out here, you know, which this here, part of the camshaft, it's not inside a bearing cap, it's not touching the cams, spacers or anything like that, or the phasers or anything like that, so not that big of a deal, but it just kind of, I found that kind of odd that there was those marks there, where somebody had obviously grabbed on. This side didn't have the scoring so much, so I don't know, maybe there was an issue on, a little bit more of an issue on this side. Also, I noticed these head bolts, paint stick marks all around like the head had been done. This side over here, no marks. So either this head has been done and somebody forgot to mark them, or this side did not get done, and this side obviously did. Those head bolts all have marks on them like I use. It's you know, it's typical. You use them for your 90-degree marks. Even though I have a torque angle meter, I always mark them just in case the torque angle meter slips. So that's why I'm going to pull this head off, test the valves on this side, see if there's any possibility of valve to piston contact, if there's any leaking valves. I got the new head gasket, got the new head bolts, all the new hardware for the front, guides, chains, phasers, CVT, solenoids, new oil pump. I'm going to take the camshafts out of both sides and blow cleaner and compressed air through them to make sure that all those ports are clean, to make sure that the phaser's getting fed properly, and that's where I'm at. Okay, another big problem. So for the 3 valve, here's your loosening sequence, and you go 1/4 inch at a time for your cam caps. Start at the front, obviously 10-9, go to the back 8-7. Those are fine. I got them cracked. They didn't seem like they were torqued down that much, but I haven't looked up the torque specs. I assume these cam caps are never strong torques. However, I got to 6 and 5, put the wrench on this number 6 one, and there was no tension. Pulled the wrench or pulled the socket off. Here's my 6 and my 5 right here. I haven't even touched this one with the socket yet. This one, there was no tension. It takes me that just to get finger tight. Now, look at this one. Yeah, that's a problem. See that cam cap? Look at that. That's terrible. Terrible. I haven't checked these ones yet. Let's see. Yeah, that one's good. Okay. And those ones are good. So I'm gonna remove the cam and see what that journal looks like. But yeah, there we are. So I got the camshaft out. That journal, I don't know how well this is going to show up. They've got some wear. That one's pretty good. This one has some pretty good wear in it, but here's the concern. This is that cap that was loose. Yeah, that's not good. It was definitely, look at that wear pattern. That's normal wear pattern, nice and straight and concentric. I mean, you're going to have some wear, but as long as they're straight and concentric and not debris in there causing deep grooves. That one's a little worrisome. That one's a little bit deeper, but that one that was finger loose or finger tight, definitely issues there. But the part where you can see it even better, pardon me, I gotta get my stool so I can get up because I got this thing up, is down in here. Let's see if it's gonna show up. Yeah, there you go. Pretty good scoring going on in there, as opposed to that, and that, and the first shell. Then you've got that. I don't know how well. Yeah, there you go. So, and unfortunately, this is built into the freaking head. It's not a removable cam bearing. So, there we go.